Jabby ball, jabby ball, jabby ball. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Talking Madrid here, and we have to talk about the game against RB Salzburg. That game, I haven't felt those sensations watching Real Madrid play in like since maybe 2022, maybe. I don't even know. It could even go further than that. It could probably go back to the three-peat days. I'm not sure what, I don't know. Guys, what I saw was they told me we would never play a three-back. I was told by all the tacticos and all the analysts that we would never play a three-back. And lo and behold, in Xabi Alonso's third game, we play a three-back. At first, I thought it was just Tchouaméni playing obviously in the center defensive mid role is actually just gonna sit in between the two center backs. But no, that's not what actually happened. He never left. We were playing a three-back. We played a 3-5-2. A 3-5-2. In the first 3 games, we played a 3-5-2. And boy, did it look amazing. Boy, did it look amazing. I was shocked. I was speechless. I couldn't stop tweeting about it. I saw pressing. I saw animals. I saw sharks who smelt blood in the water, hounding the defense. It was magnificent. Everyone was saying, oh, Vinny will never press. This person will never press. This person will never press. Yes, they will. The players will press if they believe in the vision of the manager. And Xabi Alonso is that manager. How couldn't he be that manager? You see him in the training clips. He is a part of the team. He could have put the kit on and played tonight. That is what we have with this manager, with Xabi Alonso. Let's take a look at some of these rankings. Let's look at this. Look at these ratings. Thibaut Courtois. I thought Thibaut Courtois played well for when he was called upon. He didn't have a lot of shots to worry about, but when there were, he stopped them. Same old Thibaut Courtois, best goalkeeper in the world. I have nothing more to say about that. Huijsen had a little bit more of a reserved game, but that's okay. We don't need to put all this pressure on a 20-year-old who's this is his third game as a Real Madrid player, and having him have all the responsibility in the world to be able to hold it with his defense. I thought he played well. He didn't have as many the flashy passes or the juggling like he had against Pachuca, but I think he did well for when he was called upon. I rather have the defensive load in this case be kind of disseminated across the back line in the midfield rather than just having him shirk all the responsibility. So I thought Huijsen did extremely well. He's continuing to play very well for Real Madrid. Mind you, he's 20 years old, playing one season at Bournemouth, another season at Roma, and then even less than at Juventus. So this player, Huijsen, is going to be our center back for the next decade. So everyone get used to that. Get used to that. I thought when we get to Tchouaméni here, let me make this a little bit better for you guys so you guys can see. Oh, a little bit too much. Let me chill. I got a little too excited. Tchouaméni. I thought Tchouaméni had an excellent game. Excellent game. I retweeted one of my tweets where I was like, at Real Madrid, with all the midfielders that we have and all the potential of our midfield, I think that his best position would be a ball-playing center back. And look what Xabi Alonso did. Look what he did. This might have not happened if Raul Asensio, didn't get the red card and was suspended. But I don't know. I have to go off of the information I was provided. And lo and behold, Tchouaméni is playing as a ball-playing center back. He has the physicality of a defender, right? Someone who can play in the back line. But he also has the technical ability to play in the midfield. And guess what? We have a bevy of midfielders. So what can we do if this is the way that Xabi Alonso wants to play? With sustained possession, controlled possession, be able to play out of the back in most instances, move Tchouaméni into a position in which he can pretty much be a hybrid role. He's excellent. All he needs is continuity in a position. Give him the continuity, give him the structure to play, and then next thing you know, he's one of the best ball-playing center backs. He's already one of the best CDMs in the world in a team that was structureless. Could you imagine what happens when he has structure and then he looks like what he looked like tonight? I thought he was the most assured out of all our back line. Many times he was the last-ditch defender. There was one time he got turned in and out, but he was put into bad position. But I thought he played excellent. I thought he played excellent. And this is exactly why I wanted Tchouaméni into this squad. I was like, if we want to play, like, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that. That's gonna be for another video. We'll talk about Tchouaméni and Camavinga and everything that's gonna go forward with this team. Antonio Rudiger, I was very hesitant when I saw reports that he might be available for this game. I even said that, yeah, if it wasn't a definite, there's no reason for him to play. Like, this is exactly what happened with Carlo Ancelotti. Like, as soon as a player is able to like sit on the bench, he's putting him back in. And then lo and behold, I think Rudiger played a grand total of, when did Jacobo Ramon come in? Okay, yeah, so he played 67 minutes and he went off with an injury. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Hopefully it was precautionary, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. There was no need to play Rudiger in this match. I understand maybe because Raul Asensio was suspended, and that probably was something that they had to think about and stuff. But I would have most rather have had Jacobo Ramon, even though we'll speak about Ramon after. I would rather have him here in this position, and we just have to, like, if we have to have more cover for him, we just have more cover for him. I would rather that than in the case in what we had today, where Rudiger didn't play that well, and then he also added another injury to already long-standing chronic injury that he has. So hopefully, when we get the medical reports, hopefully whether it be later tonight or whether it be tomorrow morning, hopefully it's not too serious. We have a big game on Monday against Juventus. But like I said, Rudiger played all right. Wasn't the best game. Obviously, he got a 6.6. I think it is deserved. And I think we really need to have a conversation about replacing some of our injured center backs. And we'll get to that later. Fran Garcia is consistently having good games. This probably wasn't his best game out of the 3 games, but I still think it was solid. I don't know whether it was all the talk about Carreras coming in and them talking about a left back where he really stepped up. I don't know if this is just like he has another year of experience at Real Madrid. A lot of the pressure that he once felt when he was first like a squad player, a rotational player, and now he's a consistent starter and he's getting confidence back. I don't know what it is, but he's playing almost like a senior player. It's no longer like, yeah, he still has some frenetic energy about him. I think that's just kind of who he is. He's extremely physical. He has 3 or 4 lungs. He bombs up and down, and that's just who he is. We see it in training. We see how physical he is. We see the physique. You see that he puts time in the gym. And I think that he's playing extremely well so far. I don't really have a lot to say. Maybe Xabi Alonso wants the players to have a little bit more poise, a little bit better on the ball and stuff like that. But I do believe that Fran Garcia, with his overlaps and his underlaps, has actually quite a few dynamics. I think Fran Garcia got in behind on a few crosses. I think by Trent actually. There was one. I think there was 1 or 2 of those chances. But regardless of that, Fran Garcia, I thought, played very well. And if this is the level that he's going to play, I definitely would like him on the squad. We'll see what happens when Mendy comes back. I think if Mendy can get over his injury woes, I'm not exactly sure if that's the case, because he's been injury prone for at least for the past 2 to 3 years. But if he can get over that, and if we have Fran and Carreras there to really kind of shoulder the load while he really gets all the rest and the recovery, and then you can maybe keep Mendy too. We have to make a decision on Mendy if we're getting Carreras, right? So Mendy's either you don't renew him and you kind of keep him there to play maybe the left center back. If we put him right here, as a left center back out of part 3, I think is really good. We don't need Mendy to go up. We just need Mendy to be solid defensively, which is something that he can definitely do. And then leave the wing back position for Fran and Carreras. But as we move on, Arda Güler. I thought Arda Güler had a little bit more reserved role of this game. I thought he was good. I thought he kept things ticking. His quality in the middle of the pitch is always going to be appreciated, at least by me, the way that I like football. You definitely want these kind of technicians, the ones that are comfortable with the ball, those that are press resistant, who are able to find the pass, the ones that are scanning the field before they get the ball. Those are always welcome in my ideal midfield. So I thought he played very well. One of the things I definitely want to bring up is the fact that Arda Güler got tired right around the 55th, 58th, 60th minute. That's when we started to see a lot of RB Salzburg get a lot more opportunities, because Arda Güler and to some extent Valverde were kind of gassed. And I think that's not even so much just them. It's just due to their position on the field, right? I think the whole team in general in the second half really brought it down a level, because I think they kind of like they expended so much energy in the first 25 to 30 minutes of this game with their pressing. It was infectious. What I saw from this team, like, it was infectious. They were just swarming. It was blood in the water. They created so many opportunities just for the fact that they collectively pressed. And I think that them seeing that all the work that they're doing with Xabi Alonso and them doing all those certain drills and all those certain, all those certain sequences and collectively pressing and causing all those opportunities to, get on, all those opportunities that they created from pressing, that I think that it has to build upon your belief in the system in which Xabi Alonso is trying to implement with you. In my opinion, like, if you're seeing that, before, with another coach, we were only getting these many opportunities, and it had to be pass to Vinny, and hopefully Vinny beats two, and then maybe puts a good cross in and someone gets the end of it, rather than the whole team collectively pressing, and then you're getting so many opportunities to score. I think at least two out of the three chances were just from two out of the three goals were just from great pressing, just pressing in itself. And to be able to win games just like that, with just the effort of collectively pressing, playing as a team, creating all these opportunities. It doesn't have to only be Vinny. Yes, Vinny was the one who got the goal and assist today, but there's many opportunities. Like Valverde had an opportunity, and obviously he scored, right? Vinicius scored. Garcia scored. Trent should have really had at least 2 assists in this game. There's an opportunity for Fran Garcia, could have probably scored 2 goals. Being able to play collectively as a team, and just knowing that the work that you're doing is going to benefit you, not just someone that is just hanging up and cherry picking on the top, has to be infectious. And I'm just so proud of this team. I'm discussing. Let me get through this, guys. I hope you understand how proud I am of this team. If I haven't felt like this in years, and I sometimes think about it, it's like, dude, we suffered last year, mind you. We got up until the second Clasico, where we had an opportunity to win the league, and I think even after that we lost that game, we still had an opportunity to still come back in the league. We lost in the Copa del Rey final, right? We made it to the final of the Spanish Supercopa, right? I already said Copa del Rey, right? And then Champions League's a little bit different. Obviously, we lost in the quarterfinals, but we still got to the quarterfinals. It was our lowest in years, but we still got to the quarterfinals to a solid team. We were there, right? We were there with the team that was, not saying rudderless, right? But they didn't look like they had tactics. It looked like it was just put your best players on the field and they'll figure it out. But with Xabi Alonso, your floor, the difference is the floor was so low with Carlo Ancelotti, right? The floor was so low, but you still had a high ceiling just because of the sheer amount of talent that you on the field. But now with Xabi Alonso, the floor raises. The floor raises because you have a certain system in which it doesn't matter. It matters to some extent, but the drop off isn't as low as before, because everyone understands how to play in somewhat of a system, somewhat of a defensive structure, somewhat of attacking sequences. Everyone understands that. So when you raise that floor and you still have the same talent, then the ceiling inadvertently goes higher. It's like a rising tide. The tide goes up, right? All boats rise with a high tide, right? And that's what I believe with this team. So Valverde, I thought, had an excellent game today. Ever since that first game, he still had a good first game. I just think that there was a blight with the penalty miss. But after that, Valverde has been everything. I think Xabi Alonso even said that Valverde offers so many things. He has so many qualities. It reminds him somewhat of a Steven Gerrard, where he has the defensive capabilities and he also has the technique to play in more advanced roles. And Valverde, man, God bless Valverde, man. Valverde, our captain, he does everything for this team, and this team doesn't tick without Valverde. He's integral, and he's the heart of this team so far. Jude Bellingham. If it wasn't Vinicius today, in my opinion, it was Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham, once again, you put him. Xabi Alonso said that he wanted to put him as a number 8. He said he wanted to put him as a number 8. Not a second forward, not a false 9, not a left winger, a number 8. And it's in this scheme that he has, this structure that he has, where Jude is playing more of an advanced role, playing in the half spaces in between the defensive mids and the center backs, just picking up balls here, being able to play players in. This is Jude's bread and butter, and I thought he had another excellent game today. And the thing is, Jude, Jude presses. This is how I'm telling you. We've seen the videos where Jude, and this is not like a hate on Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti delivered me 3 Champions Leagues. I watched my team win 3 Champions Leagues with Carlo Ancelotti. And I know his strengths, but I know his weaknesses. And for me, that wasn't like, obviously winning. I love winning, you know. But also suffering for that long and being able to see the players really latch onto new tactics. It feels good, guys. This feels good, doesn't it? This feels amazing. So watching Jude just hound these players, and then you have Valverde, right? Like Valverde hounding, Bellingham hounding, Fran hounding, Vinicius hounding the ball in the corner, making sure that they can't get out. That's infectious for the rest of the team. And it's just so good to see. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think this was his best game to date. I think, you know, I'm kind of giving Trent a little bit of grace because this is a completely different environment with a completely different team. This is his first time leaving his boyhood club. And, you know, a lot of the players speak a different language, right? But I thought, like, you know, he's growing into his role. I think probably the reason why this is his best position, I think, is because he was actually playing as a right wing back because we were playing 3 in the back, right? So he had defensive responsibilities, but obviously we understand that Trent's best traits are going forward. And I thought he displayed a lot of that. There was some really inventive passing, very intuitive balls in behind, you know, long balls, this combining with Jude, overlaps. He put amazing crosses in. I know there was one time where he put a peach of a cross with his left foot. And unfortunately, I think the ball went to, was it Fran? Or was it Fran or Rudiger or something like that? It was close. But it was just like, dude, this guy is a cross animal. There is not a better crosser of the ball than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then hopefully, like, we'll get to Gonzalo Garcia and my thoughts on him. But if we can we just sign someone, a forward that is over 6'2", please? If we do that, Trent will have the most assists in La Liga. Just, please, I'm a Budimir guy, right? If you follow me on Twitter, you know, Talking Madrid, you'll see I'm an anti Budimir. Get anti Budimir. He's a good 6'3". He's reliable. Get him on loan. Like, paid to 10 million. Get him on the bench. Low blocks. We can't break him down. Let Trent just cross to this Croatian animal back post. All game. But anyways, Gonzalo Garcia. Gonzalo Garcia is one of the players that I'm not saying that I don't have confidence in, but I have to recognize the fact is that he has never played on the first team consistently. He's played at the Castilla, and I understand that he was the Pichichi in their league. I'm not saying that he's not a great player, right? But I'm looking at our offensive options, and he's only 6 foot, right? And we want a Joselu profile. And Joselu profile can mean so many things. You know, if you're just talking about a traditional number 9 who's able to occupy the box, make runs near post, far post, and be able to post up the ball, that could be a Joselu profile. You know, I think one of the best things about Joselu, besides the fact that he was a complete box presence, he was able to pin back the center backs that will allow our outside wingers, whether it be Vinny and Rodrigo or, you know, whoever's on the wings, be able to 1v1 and isolate the outside backs. It was just the fact that there was a presence in the box so that they weren't always double teaming or overloading the sides where Vinicius is, right? And that could be Gonzalo Garcia. Right? And let me talk about Gonzalo before I start talking about like whether or not he should be on the first team or whether we should loan him out. I thought this tournament has been the Gonzalo Garcia tournament. I think he is like, maybe Vinicius might win MVP. I think the last game Gonzalo Garcia, I think he got the MVP, right? You know, whether or not he gets an assist, whether or not he got a goal, I think that Gonzalo Garcia has at this point walked himself into the first team as in like the first team squad, not into the starting 11, but at least into the first team squad. From what we've seen, and I'm not trying to pit our players against each other, is that I feel more comfortable with Gonzalo Garcia right now than with Endrick, right? And Endrick has been with the first team for has it been a year or 2 years? I think at least a year, right? Mind you, they're different players. You know, Endrick is a lot shorter. He's a little bit more diminutive. He's very powerful, but I'm not sure if playing like the central role is his position, or he needs to play on the outside, or he needs to be like a second striker. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not the coach. Xabi Alonso will figure that out. But so far, I'm saying that Gonzalo Garcia has showed everything that you need for a traditional number 9. You know, like I said, I've been a little shaky on him. Whether or not do I believe that he can lead the line against a team like PSG, against Barcelona, whether we're playing Bayern, we playing any of the big EPL giants, Man City, what we potentially might play sometime in this tournament. Do I think that he can lead the line? Maybe. I don't know. Like, you know, so far we played like Pachuca, we played Al Hilal, and now we played RB Salzburg. I think RB Salzburg is probably I don't know. Them and Al Hilal are probably neck and neck for like the best teams. I think Al Hilal, you have to give them the nod just because they advanced. But, you know, I'm waiting to see him against like if we play against Barcelona. Maybe he might shine. I don't know. I'm just cautious. This just is me, right? This doesn't have to be like the consensus for everybody. Just for me, I'm like, you know what we need to do. Get Endrick, loan Endrick. Endrick needs time. He needs more confidence. You can't just play him every odd game in Copa del Rey. It's not working. He's not getting the development that he needs. Mind you, it might be different with Xabi Alonso being the manager. That might be the case. But I think the best course of action for Endrick would be to potentially get a loan. Get a loan. Get some experience, get some consistency. You know, I would try to say if you can keep him in La Liga, that'd be great. If not, I think going into the Bundesliga is an excellent opportunity for him to get minutes. Similar to Nico Paz, same thing we did with Danny Carvajal. You know, I think the Bundesliga is a great place. Maybe so we don't have to play him. You know, but I would like to loan Endrick, put Gonzalo Garcia as say on the bench. I think you also get another Joselu profile. I would say get Budimir, right? I would get Budimir too. I don't see us like what is an extra 8 to 10 million? What is that? What is that in the grand scheme if you win the Champions League? If you get a domestic treble, right? I can't believe I already said that. I take that back. I never said domestic treble. But what is an extra 8 to 10 million getting an experienced La Liga proven striker who scored 21 goals in La Liga last season, who's excellent as a box threat, excellent in the air, excellent goals per touches? I don't see why not. We could run it. I might be up on Xabi Alonso's tactics, but we might run it. You know? I think we need another defender, obviously, because Rudiger still has a chronic injury. Mendy still has a chronic injury. Carvajal is training, but we still have to see that. It's been about a year. Militao, we don't know. 2 ACLs. Get me one more defender. Get one more defender who can play in a potentially back 3. And get one striker. And I think the midfield is fine. I actually think the midfield is fine. If it was me, personally, I would get Stiller. But maybe not this summer. Maybe wait for the release clause. Because I think right now you're going to have to probably play like another 50 to 60 million or something like that. I don't know if the club is really interested in doing that. Because obviously we moved Arda Güler a little bit further back to be the facilitator. The metronome to kind of pass the ball around and get out of these like high press situations. But all I'm saying, I would get Stiller. But if not, I think right now just get Carreras, get another center back. I know Carreras can play left center back and left wing back. I know that I think that's one of the main reasons why the club is trying to get him. He's Castilla. He's from La Castilla. Oh, not La Fabrica. Excuse me. He's from La Fabrica. He also plays left center back. He can play left back, and he can probably play left wing back. And he's Spanish, right? And he's young and 22, so you can kind of really develop him. But I would get another center back, get Carreras, and get a striker, and we are cooking. We're cooking. And depending on what team you play against, you could have Vinicius on the left, Budimir in the middle for hold up, and have Mbappe, and just let Jude Bellingham. Brother, guys, follow me, okay? Follow me. The balls that Jude was playing to Vinicius, the balls that Jude was playing to Garcia, the balls that Trent Alexander was playing to these two, could you imagine into space with Mbappe? Could you imagine if Mbappe was in this position and Trent just played a ball in behind after winning the ball in transition? That is barbecue chicken. It's barbecue chicken. That means if you have Mbappe and Vinicius here on the outside, you have Budimir here, these outside backs can't leave. They're pinned back here. They can't help an attack. They're pinned because as soon as they go up and they lose the ball, you have Vinicius darting this way. This player goes forward, you have Mbappe vroom this way. You're never going to catch him. It's just going to be transition counterattack all game. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. You guys want to press? Cool. As soon as you lose it, Bellingham, ball in behind. Trent, ball in behind. Guler, ball in behind. Hausen, ball in behind. Tchouaméni, ball over top. We're eating. We're eating, guys. We're eating. And then lastly, Vinicius. I thought Vinicius, hey, you know what? I'm going to start a narrative, and I can say it because I'm black. As soon as he takes off the braids, the Vinicius drops a masterclass, 8.2. Drops a masterclass. As soon as he gets back to the haircut for business, masterclass. I was very wary, and the thing is, I am watching. I'm watching to see Vinicius to see if he's going to track. He's going to track. He's going to press. He does a little bit. He's a little bit better from last season, but it's still not at the level of Valverde, not at the level of Fran, not the level of Bellingham, not the level of Gonzalo Garcia. And whether or not that is the instruction from the coach, where there's like, hey, you don't need to do that. You don't need to go to that extreme of pressing, but you still need to at least participate. It may not have to be at 100%, but it needs to be at least 90. And if that's the case, then I understand, you know. But I think that Xabi Alonso is doing an excellent job by essentially allowing Fran Garcia and Trent Alexander-Arnold to operate on the flanks here, right? They're asking them to hold the width, right? And then allowing Vinicius and we weren't really playing a 3-5-2, but allowing Vinicius and then I think in the case, I think it was Valverde, or no, it was Jude, to be able to play like pretty much inside, right? So what ends up happening when we have the ball and then we're attacking, we have the three back here, right? Hausen, Tchouaméni, and Rudiger. And then you have an attack of Garcia, Fran Garcia, Vinicius, Gonzalo Garcia, Bellingham, and Trent. So you really end up playing a 3-2-5 in that attack. And sometimes, you know, it might, instead of Bellingham, it might be Valverde, or you know how it is, right? But I think it's excellent. We're able to pin them back. They were so close, and this is what relationism looks like. Like they were just. It's not so static. It's like the whole position and the whole formation is fluid. And you know, sometimes it might be Jude, sometimes it might be Valverde. Arda Güler might pop up in this position, but it's okay because they just switch positions, or they rotate, or they cover for each other. This is relationism, and I believe this is the evolution of football. It's almost getting like, if you guys watch the NBA, where they're starting to speak about, not even starting, but when you watch the NBA, it's about position. It's almost positionless basketball, because so like players are becoming so well adept to be able to play in so many different positions, to fully really understand the game. It becomes so cerebral. And I think that's the next level. When you have physical monsters, physicality monsters such as Valverde and Bellingham and Vinicius and Tchouaméni and those type of players, but then also the cerebral game, to fully understand where to be, even if you're not in your position, but you understand the system and you understand when to rotate, when to cover, when to pinch in, when to advance. I don't know, guys. All right, I think I'm gonna end it there, guys. I'm talking for the last 28 minutes. This is Xabi Ball. I haven't felt like this in years, and I'm so excited. You guys let me know what you guys feel down in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I'm very active on Talking Madrid on Twitter. I also have Talking Madrid Extra if you want to check a lot of the reactions to like ESPN FC, CBS Golazo, and some of these other creators that are kind of talking crazy about Real Madrid. I'm definitely on there quite a bit. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. Ala Madrid, and I will see you on Monday against Juventus. Ala Madrid y nada más. Peace.